Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series. We're so glad that you are able to join us today. Today's session is called Planning for Success, and you are going to gain insight into how to plan your yard plantings and designs. Our Lunch and Learn series is a partnership. It's hosted by the Friends of Birmingham Botanical Gardens, which is who I work for. My name is Dawn Coleman Lee, and I'm the Education Activity Specialist. And we partner with Alabama Cooperative Extension System, the Alabama Green Industry Training Center, the Jefferson County Department of Health, Jefferson County Commission, City of Leeds, Alabama, City of Birmingham Stormwater Management, and the Stormwater Management Authority Incorporated. And today, we have a great session for y'all, and Troy Perry with City of Birmingham Stormwater Management is here to introduce our speaker to you.
Well, hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing fine today. I appreciate you joining us. This will be a fun thing here. I'm going to introduce Chris here in just a few minutes. Let me go over a few things. I'm Troy Perry. I'm with the Stormwater Management with the City of Birmingham, and we're glad to participate in this seminar. And I hope everybody's doing well today. And let me just mention one thing that I want to get out there. First of all, we have a household hazardous waste collection day. That'll be coming up Saturday. It'll be from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. There's 3 locations. This will be the first location is at the First Baptist Church, Gardendale. That's the south location. That's at 940 Main Street in Gardendale. The second site will be at the Classic Car Motoring. It's 3900 Grants Mill Road. That's right there at the Kilgore Memorial exit. It's the old Sam's building, if you know where that is. And also the third site will be in the City of Bessemer Public Works. It's in the laydown yard. It's at 1205 15th Avenue North, Bessemer 35020. Just plan on getting your either ammunition, appliances, batteries, electronics, household cooking grease, paint, paper shredding, pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers, prescription drug and tires. And if you got any of that stuff laying around, please bring it out. This is for Jefferson County residents only, and they will verify your residency. No businesses are allowed. So hopefully you guys can participate in that, and we'll get some of this hazardous waste out of our landfills and get it recycled or disposed of properly. And that's always a major thing. We're always concerned about groundwater contamination or surface water contamination. We don't want to leave things laying around that could cause problems with the aquatic life. Today is going to be a really great day. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Christopher Pugh. And I got a bio here. I talked a little bit to Christopher a little bit before, and I have not met him. He is with the City of Birmingham. And Christopher loves plants and is knowledgeable in both native and ornamentals for the Southeast. He's employed by the City of Birmingham, as I mentioned before, to help beautify and maintain the landscapes of various downtown parks. If you've looked at some of the parks around here, I'm sure Chris has had a lot to do with that. He also has done some work at the entrance of the Turkey Creek. He designed and did that. And if you've been to Turkey Creek, you see how beautiful that is. So you get an example of how good Chris can do as far as his work. While he has a formal education in prestigious places and people he has interned with, he just likes to be known as Chris, a wonderful and super gardener with tons of knowledge. He has a background in landscape architecture. He's also served, I think, with president with the Master Gardeners. And he's just a real sharp guy. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Chris Pugh. Chris, take it over.
Thank you so much. All right, let me see where I can get this slide thing up. Share screen, did that. Oh yeah, that would help. There. So where did everybody go? I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
All right. So we're just going to go with this. So this slide thing I made is called Planning for Success. So the next thing is when you look at your, when you look at your yard and everything, it can be new construction, it can be old construction, it might be just a little area you want to change. But when you're looking back to your site, don't think of it as a blank canvas. Think of it as what needs to be fixed, what needs to be moved, or what do you want to put in? Might want to rip up the whole entire thing and try something different, or you might just want to, redirect it a certain way.
Pause.
We're pausing for a second.
You caught me eating my lunch. Hope everybody
fine.
brought lunch.
All right. Where are we at? All right. So basically the first thing you want to do when you're looking at your yard and everything, I recommend getting soil tests, and not just in one area of your yard. Go around. You can get the kits here at Botanical Gardens. You have them shipped to Auburn. Last time I did it was $7, maybe $8. It takes a couple of weeks. They'll email you your results. But I mean, when you're working with your yard, think of it as, a house. Think of your soil as your foundation, your beginning of your project, the primer on the canvas. And that's where you can find out what the soil might be lacking, might have too much of, or not enough right soil. Next thing is call that 1-888-1 is the 811 number. Please, I've heard so many scary stories about busted water lines, busted gas lines, and everything. And then at the same time, if it's new construction, or if it might be a 10-year home, but you don't know, that nice little berm that you have over there might be covering up a whole bunch of concrete. Find what is on your site for you want to go on to the next thing. So once you get your thing, your pH will be like one of the number things to see when they email it to you. So you need to know what kind of plants you might want to plant in there. Poor soil quality, soil lacking nutrients, compact soil, pH levels, and they're so easy to fix every one of these. Most plants like grasses, flowers, vegetations will perform better in just slightly acid soil. And then other ones, azaleas, gardenias, blueberries, they want more acid soil. So before you start thinking, think what you want in your head. Walk around your yard, have a piece of notebook paper, walk around, kind of sketch out everything you have. Put down the driveway, put down the house, put down the deck, put down the existing trees you might want to keep, put where your mailbox is. Put everything on there. You can always overlay trace papers on top of your main sketch. So anyway, next thing is you want to see how the sun comes up. You want to see where the sun goes down. Where's your sunny spots? Where's your shady spots? Make a sun map. You can do this by literally putting a camera out there and set it to time lapse, and it will take a picture every hour or every 30 minutes where you ever set it to. You can watch what your areas are. Where's the most sunniest? Where's the most shade? And then also include, your hills, your neighbor's trees, walls. This will kind of help you understand which way the water might run through your property. It might pool in a certain area. You might want to work with that pooling of the water. The next thing is know your plant zone. Since I've been doing this for 10 years, we have went up so fast on planting zones. When I first started out, we were basically 6 and 7. Now we're between 7A and 9A, and part of Birmingham, Central Alabama, is still 7B and 8A, and they still think we might be going up after this year. So it'll be next year when they make the plans. So keep in mind what your ultimate goal is down the road, but have fun with it. So before you plant the first thing, think how big your plants are going to become. This picture right down here, and I got so many friends that have done this. They're like, hey, Chris, go get me a hydrangea. Well, there's 100 of them. I think I get the right one, hand it to them, plant it, go back to their house. I don't know, a couple of weeks later, I'm like, we got to move it further out. It's too close to your house. So think of how your plants will grow. Are they too close to something? Do you need to move them back? Are they going to grow too much together? Think about, and do what you want to do in your area. It's like, do you want a kid area to play in? Do you want an area to go veggies? Do you want a fire pit? Do you want a water bench, water feature? I mean, there's so much you can do. And even in the small yard, I've seen a small yard to have an area where there's benches, a fire pit, and then a wall. And it's just a wall of the canvas, and you went around and there's another bench with a water feature there. So just think of your outdoor area, plan them as different rooms, just like your house has. Your house has a living room, den, dining room, sitting room. Same thing. Make that into your backyard. Now, still before we even buy any plants or anything, think about the months that are cold. See, you want to go out sometimes and buy plants because they're got flowers, they look nice, all that during the spring and summer and fall. But when it comes down to it, think of the colder months. Now, if you put nothing but hydrangeas out there, you're gonna have nothing but sticks out there come winter months. But you need fall interest. So also look at plants that can help move the eye around. Like in my yard, I love to leave my grasses. I don't trim my grasses back, my muley grass or anything until like late February. That gives winter interest. My hydrangeas, I leave the heads on there. That gives some kind of movement in the yard. But at the same time, on my background of my yard, I have my evergreens. So it just don't disappear. So you can see the winter interest in the front, and it makes your house still like livable, something's still there. So I'm always overreacting and nervous and everything while I'm doing a project, but relax and think. All right. Have you ever thought of your favorite sports? Do you want a tennis area? Nothing big or nothing. Do you want just a little place that you can hit something? How big is your yard? Can you accommodate that? What existing plants you would love to keep in there? Do they need to be moved? What time do you move them? And what plants you want to keep away from? Because we all know, privet, wisteria, nandina. We don't need those in our yards. We need more help to the ecosystem, bring in more native wildlife. So do you want more open spaces? Do you want a more green area for people just to sit down? Do you want an outdoor movie theater? Do you like to cook outside? So anyway, when you start adding these things, realize when you got your master plan of your house, your driveway, and everything there, you can always add another piece of trace paper on top of that. And you can change, and you can change, and you can change. Trust me, while I'm doing a project, I will go through almost 2 books of trace papers until I find exactly, oh, I like this one on this side, I like this on this side, and just go with it. Next thing is, I hate this word. I hate this word. What is your budget? I wish we had an endless budget, but we got to keep on the budget. Next thing is, do you want to do this in a short period of time, or do you and your spouse want to do this like fast or a couple of years? And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Take your time if you're going to do it yourself. Do it right. If you want a certain plant, wait till the next year and order it so you can get more. So what theme would you like to have? There's so many different things. There's formal, there's informal, there's oriental, there's American, there's English garden. Your theme can be what you want it to be. And each room can almost be a different theme. Also, look at the characteristics of your house, your trees, and your home. I mean, look at that, and that can help figure out what you want out there. Get creative ideas from art, from rocks, lighting, anything. Remember out in the desert, I saw lightning and it hit up a tree beautifully. And I knew right then and then I want lights up in the tree, not from the bottom, but up. I want it to highlight all the branches and everything. And then think of the rest of the area. Do you want a shade area? Do you want a play area? You know, you want areas with lights, and you want pathways to lead people around to different areas. So I think I skipped one. I did. So create and link spaces. So think of your yard, as I said before, as rooms. And how you going to go to each room in each room? You're going to have pathways and everything. So make sure you have children, animals, veggies. With me, we have 2 German Shepherds. We have a big green area, and we do have chickens. And to get to the chickens, I can go straight down the hill. But the way I made my route, my pathway, I have 4 different curves to get to the chicken coop before I even get there. And on the way, I'm picking blueberries, blackberries, and everything. And on the way back, I'm carrying the eggs up, and it takes no time, but I take my time looking at everything I basically have done there. Create doors or openings to encourage your guests to move from one spot to another. It can be, like I said, a canvas wall that's when your kids painted, you hang it up tight. It can be an archway. It can just be plain, simple wood fence that you got something, Lady Banks rose growing up. But that way it helps your guests to move around and wondering what is on the other side. All right, time to sit back again. We're still relaxing and think what you want to see. All right, first of all, I love plants, but when I go to somebody's yard, it's their yard. I won't say nothing, but we have color theory. We got complementary theory, colors. Colors can play off colors. Think of your plant as almost like hair. There's different texture. There's different shapes. There's different thickness. There's color. With this hair produce shade. With this plant spread unbelievable. And then think about groupings. So when you're doing groupings, you want odd numbers. Your eyes love odd numbers. So 3s, fives, 7s, 9s. When you get up to about 10, I know that's even 11, it doesn't matter no more. And then think of color. Color is so powerful. It can change a mood in a heartbeat. All right. You just think like red. Red is for passion. It's for power. Sometimes it could be, it might bring you down. But blue at the same time, it creates imagination, a calming effect. And blue just makes you just want to relax some. So have fun with color. Color can be anything, and have fun with texture. When you mix all of those up, that's the key to an awesome garden. And especially if it's a small garden, if you concentrate on your color, your texture, you'll make your garden feel twice, if not 3 times as big. So it's time to make change in your yard. This is the time to add or take away soil. I'm using my own yard, for example. We had a berm that I wanted totally taken away before we got going on it. And luckily we had a big old, ditch on the side of the road and everything. We put some pipe in, and now we made it into a rain garden on that ditch side. So do you want to keep that, or do you want to take away? Do you want to add a pond? Do you want to add a bioswale? See, you can add hills, and watch the water flow down to a certain area. And the bioswale, you can add irises, pitcher plants, rush, and it goes on and on and on. And different things. Don't forget, rush is a winter interest. It will keep green throughout winter. So when everything else goes dormant, you still have something there. Think about tiers, or do you want to add a little tier that goes up on the side or something? You want the eye to follow up. You want the eye to move every which way. You don't want the eye just to go straight down a certain pathway. And then people are like, all right, I saw it. That's cool. So it's time to add special touches on the draft. This is the time to add, features like you want to shine. Have you ever been someone you saw one of those glass balls? I remember when I first get in this, I want glass balls hanging from trees. I want the light to hit it. I want it to glare. And I mean, just everything. Do you want to add arbor? Do you want to add arbor when you're walking down the pathway? You get to arbor and it kind of tees off. One way goes to one room, another one goes to another room. You can add a gateway. You can add just a plain old gate, 4x4s on one side, and they open it up and they're literally into another room. I've seen people put mirrors in their gardens. The mirror makes the gardens look further and further and further. It almost plays a trick on the eyes and everything. When you're adding pathways, this is one thing I tell people all the time. Please, please make sure it's wide enough for you and a friend or a wheelbarrow to get through. My house I used to have in Homewood, I made the biggest mistake. I made the pathway exactly 2 feet wide, and trying to get stuff from the way in the back up to the compost bin or even to the road, the wheelbarrow was tearing things up. So I had to make the path wider and wider. So I would just walk through the yard and make sure the wheelbarrow can get through if I even start anything. So when you reach the furthest part of the yard where you want it to be, you need something there. You need something to sit on. You look back all the way back to your yard. And that way you can see everything is done. You can see the front or backyard. You can see the back of the house. There's the front yard. You can see the front of the house. Sit back, have a bench, have a little table. And that way you can see what's going on, what you've done. Next thing about yards I really love is think about the ecosystem. Again, getting to Nandinas, not a lot of our animals here eat the berries off Nandinas. To me, I hate to say this, it smells like cat urine when you cut them. Think of other stuff like beautyberry. Excuse me. I know beautyberry is deciduous, but the birds, the squirrel, and it's funny to look at them when they ferment and the birds are trying to fly away and the squirrels are trying to walk away and they are fermented. But, okay, just think of the bigger picture. You can create an area for compost. You're going to get beetles. You're going to get worms. You're going to get little things that's crawling in there and it's going to add air. And that is free soil. Next thing is what plants attract benefit wildlife. And I mean, there's American wisteria. There is. It's not invasive, but it's still a vine. Think of milkweed. If you got full sun, think of milkweed instead of something else. And my thing is, and then there's a class here that, oh my gosh, I try to come to it, is the rain barrel class. And let me tell you something. We did not have gutters on our house. We have gutters now. We have 6 rain barrels that all drain in, because I live on top of a hill, that all drain into a cistern on the bottom of the hill. And then we use that with the pump to pump up our irrigation. And then we use that water also to help fill up, our koi pond. Think of your plants as layers. You don't want everything just so straight. And again, you got to get back to your winter interest. All right. Summer times, the plants will look gorgeous, but you don't want them all bunched in together and everything. Your evergreens, and every so often you'll have an evergreen in the middle of the path, but evergreens kind of hold everything in. And then in the middle, if you got some cool seed heads that that's going to go to seed, leave them so much. Your hydrangeas are going to go to a seed head, leave them. It was always time to prune and everything. But I mean, you don't really want a crowded border. You want a properly spaced border where everything's got room to move, breathe, get sunlight all the way around it. And the more air you have going around your plants will help dry them out faster so you don't get diseases or fungus or any kind of pests or anything. It's time to think about plants. So what kind of plants do you want? What kind of plants do you need? All right, you can do all native shrubs, or you can do ornamental, or you can do, what I love to do is 90% of the stuff I put in people's yards or native shrubs, native plants, and everything, but I still use ornamental. One of my favorite ornamentals is a fancy leaf maple. And yes, it's deciduous, but it looks like an umbrella. When you put natives around it, it makes that one ornamental shine. Think of your border of think of the border that you're doing around is as your fence. I'm not saying take down your fence, but go around your fence. Use it as a background. Your background needs to be the darkest, so everything in front of it will shine so much better. Then you can move in from there. So to start off, background needs to be a little bit higher. You just step down a little bit further and a little bit further. And then go all the way down to the center, okay? And when you get to the center, you can put something major. It doesn't have to be small. It could be a big 5-tier bird bath. It can be a little hut. It could be just somewhere to sit, around a patio. But make heights. I've seen yards that everything's one level and it's just the eye doesn't move and you get kind of boring. I love to plant plants that you have to look around to see what the other plant is. So the thing is, help the eye move. And like I said, planting odds up to 11, then that goes away. And then the way I plant my shrubs in one area, if I'm doing an area like azaleas in one little corner, I get a whole bunch of tennis balls. I throw my tennis balls up as far as I can, and where they land is where I plant. I can go out there, I move them a couple of times, but that is random. Just throw them on the ground. All right, still on plants. Have fun picking your plants. Please have fun picking your plants. Just make sure that's the plants that are not invasive. It's not a plant that's going to get too big. Make sure there's so many new hybrids out there. There's Sunshine Ligustrum, which is gorgeous, but it reverts back to the regular mother privet that we all hate and just don't want in our yard. I remember going up north and they had privet, but their cold winters keeps it under control. Down here, out of control, it goes. Look at your labels and save your labels for a while. See the plants, how they grow, what area they need, and see if they're not going to take over, they're not going to get too big in the area you want them to be. Some ground covers, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. My significant other planted mint. And from the very first time, I told them, do not. Let's put it in a container. Well, guess what? Now, all the way around our porch is mint. And yes, mint keeps away ants and everything, I understand. And it smells wonderful when the dogs walk on it. But now it's taken over and over. And it's hard to get rid of mint, I'm telling you. Learn to when to prune, all right? I'm looking down Highland Avenue, and these residential people are out there cutting their crepe myrtles, doing crepe murder. And they keep on asking me, that's one of my areas for the city, or are you not doing this? I was like, you don't cut a tree. They're like, it blooms faster. No, it don't. It just makes the limbs weaker. And if you have a storm, the limbs start popping. Just cut anything. Know when to prune it. If it's a boxwood, you know how to prune it. If it's a holly, you know how to prune it. If it's a tree, just make sure the branches are not rubbing together or any kind of dead or disease you want to get out of there. Just make sure that your loppers, you have a bleach solution beside you, or what I use is just alcohol pads, and make sure you don't carry one disease to another thing. So anyway, still learning when to prune. If it blooms in spring, prune right after it blooms. And if it blooms in summer, you can prune a little bit later, late winter, or maybe early spring, just depending when it is. But be careful. If you prune too much, you go too deep, you can cut your next year's flowers off. If you go up there on Highland right now, you'll see all my azaleas are in bloom. No, they're not in shape. But everything's full in bloom. Now, a couple of months down the road, maybe month and a half, I will be out there shaping them for next year's bloom. And then when my oak leaf hydrangeas start blooming up there also, I'll wait further down the road and prune them, maybe November or so. Again, I know I already said this so many times, and planting odd numbers until you get up to 11. It just helps the eyes move around. It's just more pleasing. And at the same time, you can plant just one highlighted specialty plant that you want. If you see something you want, like a fancy leaf Japanese acer or a cornice that doesn't get that big or something, get it. I know everybody's, oh, let's go native, let's go native. But as long as it's not invasive, as long as it doesn't take over, we can do this. We can I've got 4 Japanese maples in my backyard, and it's during winter months and early spring. I got Jacob coat up underneath it, and it just goes tremendously with it together. So there's other things you need to think about. Think about your curb appeal, think about your front yard. Do you want to change something? But this is it. Don't even think about only your plants. All right. Like I said, do you want a bench? Do you want a fire pit? Do you want something else there? Well, have fun with different things. House numbers. Go with cool house numbers that go with your style. Change your mailbox. 90% of the people you ride around, you just see the same mailbox. If you're not in HOA, I know, I understand. But if you can do something cool, ironwork or something different, go for it. Up lighting, landscape lighting. Like I said, I have lights in my trees on the top. So come wintertime, it is blooming. And then come summer and all that, when they're full of leaves, the shadows it casts is unbelievable onto everything else. Garage doors. I'm telling you, just a paint or a brand new set of garage doors will totally change your view of your driveway. Coming down my driveway, here's a story right fast. I wanted Bradford pears when I first started. I'm not going to lie. I wanted Bradford pears. Perfect shape, uniform. I know. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but thank God I did not do it. So we compromise. We have Vitex going straight down both sides of our driveway, and up there at the entrance by the road, we got 2 pillars, and behind them we have crepe myrtles. And on the pillars we have lights. On our garage we have a downlight, and on both sides of it. So not only thinking about plants and the way you want it shaped or anything, you got to think outside the box. Besides that, you got to think about, you want painting your door will add so much more. So if you got hope landscaping and you add a bright yellow door, that's going to bring your eyes straight to your front door. New hardware on your doors. I'm telling you, we just got new hardware, painted our door bright yellow. And I've had people ask so many times, "Did you get a new door?" I'm like, "No, I just painted it." All right. Window boxes. I did window boxes for years, and this year I'm about to redo them. I am adding drip irrigation this time. I am the world's worst at getting out there and watering, or thinking, "Oh, I'll water it later," or even putting the water capsules in there, and I've let it go for too long. This year I'm putting drop irrigation in on those and let them hang, make them whimsical, let them move into the wind and everything. So not only think about your plants, your design, what structures you went in there, think about what you can do to your house. That's, you don't have to rip out the front, but what can you add to it? Paint. How much is paint? $40, $60. You can paint the front of your door. You can put new handles. You can put a new, front porch light that hangs down. And so much LED lights are being used right now. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. I've put a strip of LED lights behind my gutters, and the way it softens to the ground is unbelievable. I should have took a picture, but I didn't. Next thing is, this is your yard. Have fun with it. Play with it. Make it yours. If you don't like the plant, replace it. Don't settle for something that you don't really want. Don't let nobody pressure you to get something. Unless they tell you it's invasive, then yeah, listen to them. Research before you even buy the plant. Understand if they're disease resistant, or you're going to have to keep up maintenance all the time. In today's world, we don't have time. Go. or at least I don't, going out there pruning roses or making sure I'm deadheading something. Or like with me, when my hosta blooms, I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that I love the blooms on top. But some people go out there and they cut all the blooms off, which is fine. It makes it sends the power and energy more down into the roots. Ask others what they have done to their yard. Hey, I love this. What kind of plant is this? And something else, get on apps. We have the number one thing right here. We have a computer in our hand all day long. One of my favorite apps I use almost every single day, because I don't know every single plant. There's nobody, there probably is somebody that does, but it's $20 a year. It's called Picture This. And you take a picture of it, boom, it saves it for you. And when you get to Lowe's or you want to order it off Etsy or whatever, or come to the Botanical sale this weekend, you got it there to show it to them. Next thing is Google Picture. I mean, I'm telling you, I've used both of them. And then if you don't feel like it's right, hey, you got an extension upstairs that can help you out. So the next thing is, all right, one of my favorite books besides Google, all right, is a Southern Living Gardening book. It is a big book, and I'm telling you where to get it. Oh my gosh, Second Charles. It's on Highway 31 across the street from the Galleria. They have them all the time. The most expensive one I bought there was $24. The least expensive one I bought was $13 because I buy them and I give them out as gifts. When people are like, I'm going to do my yard by myself. All right, here you go. Look at this. And it will tell you all different things. Next thing is learn how to plant, how to lay your thing out, when you're doing your garden, you don't want straight lines. You want curved lines, or if you do want a straight area, lay it brick pattern. Like if you look on the side of the house of a brick, how one lays this way, one lays another, and it keeps on growing like that. That way you just don't have straight lines. And when you look sideways, now you got diagonal lines. Here's an easy equation. So you take the area in square feet. So let's say we have 100 square feet. You divide that into your spacing. So say you're going to space it, 1 feet and 45 inches. So they'll get you the plants that you needed. All right. So if you got 100 square feet and the spacing is 4 inches, you need 9 plants. If you need 5 plants, it's 5.7, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes on. So there's tons of calculations. You can Google plant calculations, and right then and there, it'll tell you what is your square, what is your triangle, what's a circle, and how far you got to plant, space it, and boom, 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 within 5 minutes, without even using a pencil or thinking of your brain, it's there. It's like a sheet I had in school. So at this time, thank y'all so much. I had a privilege. This is my first time doing it. I started out really nervous. Then I started really talking. Most of y'all know me. If you don't know me, you will soon. But yeah. So thank y'all. All right.
Thank you, Chris. That was great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Dawn's got questions.
Okay.
Where's the questions? Under check.
Yeah, I was going to make sure that everybody knows to go ahead and type in a question.
Hey, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank y'all for joining us today. Thank you, Chris, for presenting today. We are just going to go over some questions that we have in the chat that popped up. Was there anything you wanted to say before I go into the questions, Troy?
No, other than, again, we're having the hazardous waste day, for this weekend. It'll be Saturday. So if anybody, wants to participate, we'll be out there collecting items for hazardous household waste. Just check. And I think somebody asked about fire extinguishers. I believe we do take fire extinguishers. So as far as that goes, that's pretty much what I have to say. Make sure that you handle waste properly and make sure you pick up trash. And I think most of the people that are associated with this want to have their yards look good. And let me tell you, Chris, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thoroughly enjoyed that. It just really was excellent and gave me some good ideas. You brought in like changing mailboxes or, painting garage doors or changing garage doors and lighting. And I like lighting. So that's a great way to improve what your yard looks like and that curbside appeal, so to speak. So that's incredible. I really enjoyed that.
I'm excited. You gave me some good ideas. And I know once I send this recording to Caleb, he's going to be like gung ho. This is what we're doing now in our yard. Susan asks, can you please repeat the name of the store where you buy the Southern Living Gardening books?
All right. Well, you can buy them at Books A Million. You're going to pay full price for it right there. I think it's like $65. Or where I go is Second and Charles. It's on Highway 31 across the street from the Galleria. And I think Johann Fabrics is beside it. I mean, literally, it's right there. I mean, Gallery here, Highway 31 here, they're right here. I mean, just right there. And they got bright orange pillars up front, and they rearrange all the time. So just go in and walk around and find the landscape or horticulture, because they changed. I think it's gardening now. And make sure you check every book. All right, might be facing backwards. Don't just skim. People pick up stuff, they move it around. Just check. And there's tons of other books there, believe it or not, for the Southeast.
And Linda, who is our volunteer extraordinaire, mentioned that our library has many gardening books for sale. You can always use your Jefferson County library card to check out books here. And if you're not a Jefferson County resident, but you are a member of Friends of Birmingham Botanical Gardens, you can get an out-of-county library card for Jefferson County for a discount. I think it's like $10 when it's normally like $35 or something like that. Jennifer said, this was great. Do you have any tips for planting under shade trees? I like to add a bed, but I'm worried about harming the tree.
Well, I mean, it depends on what tree you have. Like magnolias have surface roots, everything. Just there's a lot of ground covers out there. There's new ground covers coming out all the time. Try if it's shade, why not go with moss? I'm telling you, I love moss. There's a certain area on Highland Avenue I take care of that is 2 live oak trees on both sides, humongous water oak in the middle, white oak, I mean, in the middle, and then 2 crepe myrtles on the end. So I basically did the buttermilk, paper, and moss, blended it all up, and kept that baby smooth, wet, and everything. And now it's covered in moss. So that blocks out 90% of my weeds. I don't have to use pine straw or mulch or anything like that. So think of moss. There is a Google thing, because I had somebody else wanted it, and we ended up digging holes around there and putting pots inside the hole, so we can always pull the plant out if it didn't do well or anything. But you can put ferns. There's all different things. There's the Christmas fern, the queen fern. Turkey Creek has all those ferns for sale also. And then of course here at the plant sale, we'll have those too.
Kay said, can you please talk more about setting up drip irrigation?
Drip irrigation, first time I did it, I was terrified. And let me tell you something, your next best friend besides Google is YouTube. Somebody's already done it before you. Get on there and search, watch the videos, and make sure. My drip irrigation is the whole entire yard and everything, and it's hooked up to my sprinkler system. So basically, like one of my window boxes, I'm going to put a emitter in there that probably will put like 4 gallons during the whole entire, I think 3 hours is in session, because it only drips so much. And then I do have some fans that go underneath my rose bushes, so it doesn't hit the leaves on the rose bush, or it doesn't splash water and hit the leaves and splash back up. Drip irrigation soak, I mean, it is unbelievable. At first, I would just take one section at a time and learn how to do it. There's a drip irrigation kit at Lowe's just for your deck. And you buy the timer, put the batteries in it, turn it on, and you forget it, and it does everything. But let me tell you about this. If you're going to do drip irrigation, and you could going to put some containers out in your yard, or say walking around your pass and you want a container with a, let's just say Japanese maple in it or something like that, or oak leaf hydrangea or Nikibo blue. Make sure your container's up off the ground, so you can flow and release water. But run that drip irrigation up through that hole, and then come all the way up, put your soil in there, and then put the little peg that comes with it, little stand in there, so you don't have nothing hanging over the side. I've seen people put drip irrigation, which is fine, but they'll come up the side of it and then put it in that way. They got drip irrigations for hanging baskets. I mean, when it first started out, it was just like a couple of kits, and now you can buy them at Lowe's, you can buy them at Home Depot, you can order them offline. So with my irrigation I have for my yard and everything, I also use drip irrigations in certain areas for sure.
Okay, let's see. Susan just said thank you, and Kathy said thanks, good program. Do we have any more questions before I end our session for today?
What's the question?
Susan asks, how do you pump water from your rain barrels?
Well, there's two ways. You can do a gravity fed. I've done them all which way. I really have. But the ones in my front, the one on, say that you don't know what my house looks like, but anyway, the furthest one away is a little bit higher. I have a pipe on the bottom with a filter screen that runs to the next one. And then that one right there has a pump in it that pumps up to do my drip irrigation, because you need the force to, it's just a little tiny, I think $19 or $29 pump, and it goes. That one's not on a timer though. All right. So you just got to remember when to turn it on and when to turn it, plug it in or unplug it. The ones on the back, basically I have two pumps, but also have one where all of it goes way down to heel into a big cistern, because our wet winters and everything, that's our rain season. So I have 5 120-gallon cisterns that I keep. I put the dunks in there to keep mosquitoes away. I have them wrapped in black plastic so they don't get the sun, UVs, get algae in there. But I do have a humongous sump pump in there, and I've just reduce it. And then there's a thing you can buy that's got like, I think 5 little things that goes off. And when it's time to do it, I just plug it in, let it go, and then unplug it. But mostly, y'all, mine's just plugged into my water house spigot with the timer on, because you can leave the water on. It won't leak, it won't tear up, it won't raise your water bill or nothing. And if your battery goes dead, it just stays shut until you replace your battery. So it won't just keep on running.
All right, I think that is it for today. Kay says thanks so much. She really enjoyed the program. And like I wrote on the board, you're doing amazing.